Okay, in my last video last week, I told you about emptying my home of over 30 years. And I really had some great feedback on that. And it was so heartwarming, but eye-opening at the same time to know how many people were actually going through that same exact thing, or had done it, or were terrified that they are going to be going through it. Um, So I think people assume that this video, because I did say that I would be posting another video this week, would be more of the same. But I want to tell you something that may surprise you. That last video, and if you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it. That was about packing up my home, and the challenges and the struggles and the heaviness that goes with that. But again, something that may surprise you, because this is about when I walked into my new apartment. It wasn't about being relieved or numb or stressed. I walked in here and I was excited. So excited. I can't even put into words how excited I was to walk in here. You know, some people look at divorced women and will be thinking, she moved into an apartment after selling her family home. She's broken. She lost everything. No. Here's what I knew on moving day. This was mine. Only mine. Only my name was on it. No one else's decisions, no one else's energy. And that was huge. Especially the energy. Because what I came from was so heavy. I walked into here and just felt, it's just me. There's no one else that I have to consider, worry about, think about, nothing. It's just me. And I have to tell you, I took a full breath for the first time in a long time. So if you are in the thick of this, I'm telling you, the excitement is coming. But I want to tell you about the practical side of it as well. What made this feel manageable to me. The reason why I was excited and not overwhelmed is because I did the work before I even hired the movers. While I was in that house, and again, if you haven't watched the video before this, please go back and watch it because it'll give you some context. While I was in the house, while I was in the middle of it, I organized everything, every box that I packed. Now, I also explained to you that I didn't start packing boxes until I knew that the house had sold. And in case you're not waiting until that actual time, knowing that you're going to have to pack up anyway, I highly suggest that you leave yourself a room or a space or an area where you can put things that maybe you haven't decided on yet. Maybe there are things that you're still thinking about that don't have an exact place, whether you're taking it, leaving it, giving it away, donating it, throwing it out, whatever. Give yourself that space. It sort of helps your mindset a little bit and allows you to organize. The rest of the house can perform while you're showing it and look perfect, but give yourself that one space. But when I started packing, I organized every box. I numbered every box, 1 through however many, I forget how many boxes I ended up with. They all said the room that they were going into and what was in that box. Not only did I do that, but I also had a notebook. And as I was packing up, this notebook was always with me because you were always packing up something. And in here was listed every box by number by room, and what was in it. So if ever I were going to be in a position where I'll say, where is the coffee maker? Well, I know that's in box 14, that's marked kitchen. And it makes it very easy to find. Not only does it keep me organized and know where things are, but while the movers were moving here, they knew exactly what room those boxes were going in. So there was no having a big, huge pile of boxes that I was going to have to dig through. The movers knew exactly where it was going to go. And that may sound like a small thing, but when your life is in chaos, that was sanity. That little thing held me in control, because you have to find whatever you can be in control of and be in control of it, because so much of the process you feel like you're losing control. So anything that you can hold on control of, do it. Again, it wasn't just an organizational tool. It was sanity. And it was proof that I made a plan. I was moving towards something, not just from something. So prepare, purge, label, lists, keep your book. I promise you, your future self will thank you. And while I'm talking about packing the boxes, another tip, which is huge for those of you that haven't gone through this, you're going to start making phone calls for movers. You're going to make however many to compare prices. They're going to ask you all the questions over the phone. How many rooms are in the house that you're in now? Are there stairs? How many rooms are you moving into? How many boxes? Blah, 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 blah. And while I was on the phone with them, I was actually walking around the house with my notebook, writing down the notes, with my measuring tape, looking at pieces, measuring them, letting them know exactly what I want, because then, or what I needed. What they're going to do is get a quote to you. After you give them the information, they're going to determine the size truck you need, how many guys they need, and how long it's going to take. I'm going to tell you, this was a hiccup for me. Now, mind you, I was moving very close to where I lived. So it was only a couple of miles, honestly. So that time wasn't me. I think they gave 3 hours. I forget if it was 3 hours or 4 hours. And I said, that's more than enough time. I'm moving into a small apartment. This is not going to take long. And I was so organized that all the boxes that I had at the house, I moved into the garage. They didn't have to go through the entire house, gathering boxes, taking them out or taking them downstairs or putting them in the truck. They were literally all in the garage. They're going to back up in my driveway, the truck to the garage, and load them up. Easy peasy. Quick, quick, quick. Because again, it's all about time. Again, I forget if it was 3 or 4 hours. And then after that, you are billed X amount per hour. And I'm trying to remember how many guys came. I forget if it was 3 or 4. And the one guy was in charge. Now, mind you, these were kids. They were all college kids with their summer job. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but they were all young and all inexperienced. The one guy who was in charge, he was very nice. He was very well spoken. He was very polite. He was professional. He was accommodating, but I could tell how frustrated he was. And he actually came up to me and admitted to me. He says, I cannot believe the guys that they gave me. Long story short, they wound up going overtime. They didn't have enough time, enough room on the truck. The owner of the company had to come with another truck. Let me just say, there was a little bit because I wasn't backing down. So I wound up getting what I wanted, but it was an argument. So my tip to you is, if you're going to hire a moving company, have them come to the house to give you a quote in person when they are looking at everything. And then they sign off on it, and they cannot argue, well, we didn't know you had this, and we didn't know how heavy that was, and we didn't realize this. And ask the questions. So I don't even want to say how much more it did wind up costing me because I'm still getting over that. But it wasn't as much as he wanted to charge me, and I was not agreeing to that. So anyway, but when they came in, it was funny at the end because I had people here helping me, my friends, my family. And when I realized that time ran out, now we're on the clock, I jumped into let's go, assembly line, boxes in, box, hurry up, in here, in here. But we knew where all those boxes went because everything was labeled. So I got over that little catastrophe. I handled it. It was fine. I was in now. They were gone. All of my belongings were here. And the first thing that I wanted to do was my bedroom. I wanted my bedroom in order and set up. As you can see, I'm in my bedroom now. Again, I wanted it to be first. I wanted it to be deliberate. And it matters. You know, when you're going through something big, and that at the time was very big for me. You know, I could look back at it now months later and say, and maybe look at it a little differently, but that was a huge, huge undertaking for me. It was. So now here I am in my space and I'm excited to be here. I want the bedroom done first. To me, your bedroom is your sanctuary. It is your most personal space. It's where you start the day. It's where you end the day. And if it feels chaotic, then you feel chaotic. It really, it makes a big difference mentally, physically. It reminds me of a video that I saw a long time ago. I believe someone in the military had written it, and it was about making your bed daily. I don't know if anyone has seen that. Google it. It's really very interesting. But it talks about how making your bed every day and starting off your day like that really changes how you start your day. You're not starting in a stressful, things strewn all over the place, chaotic feel. You're starting it calm. Plus, when you come home, everything is in order. It really does change your mindset. So I really wanted to set this up first. I had this furniture. This furniture actually was my daughter's in our home. When she had moved out and got her own place, she didn't want the furniture. So I said, now this is not my master bedroom furniture. And I'm so happy about that because I wouldn't have wanted that. First of all, it would have never fit here. It was massive, but it was a different look, a different feel. I wanted this. The only thing that I bought new was new bedding, a great mattress topper, a new comforter, sheets, blankets, shams, throw pillows, throws. You know, the old furniture came with me, but it was a new beginning with fresh sheets and a way to start off fresh for me. And again, it may sound small, but it was deliberate. So the old bed, new beginnings. And that night, I have to tell you, I slept like a baby. Then came time to unpacking everything, unpacking the boxes. And I have to tell you that I had everything packed, put away, organized, and set in 2 days. I even amazed myself. And it's because I did the hardest work before I left the house. I purged ruthlessly. I purged. I got rid of so much. And if it didn't have a clear place in a new life, it didn't come. That was my rule. I was not bringing something or anything marked, I'll figure it out later. Imagine that if you bring a whole bunch more stuff that you still have to go through and figure out what you're going to do. I was not going to do that in a new space. Everything that came through the door had a purpose and a place. So that made packing feel so different than packing up in the house. Everything that I made all the decisions. There were no decisions to be made. I already did that. Just putting things where they belonged. Every box that I unpacked. Now, when I had done my bedroom, I had my boxes of clothes that were going right in the drawers. Everything in my closets, I transported on the hangers with bags over them. Do you know how easy it was to just hang them in the closet? It literally took me no time. Probably the most time it took was to put up curtain rods and curtains. But other than that, 1, 2, 3, and it was done. Doing the hard work of deciding what belongs before you get there was huge. So then your next chapter, when you walk in, you feel lighter, cleaner, more intentional, more in control. And that lighter, that word lighter, had stuck with me through this whole process because that's how I felt. And it allowed me to be excited. So you not dragging the past because you chose what it was that you were bringing, and there was a reason for it to be here. And by the way, that goes for people too. But that's a whole other video. We won't talk about that now. People kept asking me, when did it feel like home? Does it feel like home? And honestly, pretty quickly. Again, I was unpacked very quickly. It may not be perfect. It may be temporary. I don't know the answers to those questions yet. You know, this is a smaller space than I have ever lived in as an adult. But it felt like mine. And mine felt like enough. So a home is less about space and more about the intention that you bring to it. I wanted to make it pretty, peaceful, make it a place that I was genuinely happy to come back to every day. And I achieved that. That intention, the decision is what, or the decisions is what made it faster than I expected. So I just, it's just a really good feeling. I want to show you something that I have here that I bought. I didn't buy. Someone very special bought this for me, but I brought it in here to show you. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it if it's backwards. But it says, it's not how big the house is, it's how happy the home is. This is so special to me, and I have a beautiful plate rack to put this on, and this is in my living room. But it's these things in decorating now and putting things around that are so special that are me, feels like me. Again, I don't need anybody else's opinion, energy, decisions. I get to make that all on my own. So if you are standing on the other side of a big life decision right now, such as moving, dreading the move, dreading the downsize, dreading the smaller space, and the smaller life that you may think that that represents, I'd like to give you a different way to look at that. Smaller is not lesser. Different is not worse. And starting over is not losing. Starting over is editing. It is taking everything that life handed you, the beautiful things, the hard things, the devastating parts, and deciding with intention what you carry forward. I carried forward furniture. All of my furniture in the apartment came from the house. I knew would work, along with my eye to be able to make things pretty. I carried forward my strength, even when I wasn't sure I had any left. So my point is that you can do this. And also knowing that I left behind what needed to stay behind, that didn't serve a purpose or a place in my new space. This apartment is not a consolation prize. This apartment is a beginning. And I always have to keep reminding myself of that. And in 9 months here, 9 months, whatever I'm here, I truly mean that. I am content. I love the feeling that I get when I come home every day. I am comfortable. My things are around. I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel at peace. And I want you to know that you can have that same excitement when you get to your next space. So next week, I'm going to show you what I've been doing as far as decorating and making it feel like my space, the thrifting, the DIYs. I've done some floral arrangements. It's the little decisions that add up to a home that feels intentional on a budget that required me to be creative. And because that part's fun. So I can't wait to take you along and show you those things. Stay tuned for next week. And remember, you got this. Until next time.